What up, everyone? DJ Anubis here with you on the Metal Tavern Radio podcast with my new segment called Lone Wolf with Dub. Uh, as you can tell, the name of the segment is a play off of Lone Wolf with Cub. And actually, this was initially a segment that I was going to start with another person who calls himself Lone Wolf Trail, a very cool guy, good friend. Uh, Now, I may eventually have him on the show at some point, if I continue to do this, which, I've been kind of batting back and forth how much content I want to put out for the channel. I've been kind of discouraged a little bit as the channel's not as growing as much as I would like. But at the same time, I do love doing this. I do love talking movies. Music was always going to be a focal point anyway. So, that's not ever going to stop. You're going to see the top 5 every week. You're going to see me talk about music and concert reviews and stuff like that. But as far as like the other parts of the entertainment content, it's going to be a little bit more sporadic. I'm not pumping out as much weekly as I was before, just because it's a lot of work, man. Like, if you're not really seeing the returns on it, then you're kind of stressing yourself out when you don't need to. However, I do like martial arts films. I love talking martial arts films. I actually reached out to another guy who I don't know to try to see if he wanted to kind of do this stuff with me. But, uh, you know, it's just a matter of, who's interested in that. I may have some other guests. I have a lot of friends that do YouTube content, Kevin Lambert, Headquarters, Sci-Fi Century, Jedi Veil. So eventually I may have them on as guests to talk about films, just depending on how I'm feeling at the time. But I did figure the first film that I wanted to talk about, I'll just do myself to kind of get the show on the road and get this kick started. Hope you enjoyed the intro there. Uh so this segment will be mainly me reviewing and talking about some of my favorite martial arts films. So I'm not really going to go too often outside of that box because if someone says, hey, watch this, and I don't like it, I don't like really bashing films per se. I could do a gazillion fucking reviews on stuff that I don't like. I just don't like doing that. Like, and not because I think that it'll make them feel bad. Opinions just are opinions, but at the same time, I like promoting and pushing stuff that I like, no matter what it is. And so, yeah, this will be mainly a show, a segment that's going to be dealing with all my favorite martial arts films that I like. And so I'll have a lot of good stuff coming up. The first one I'm going to kick off with is one that was always originally planned, called The Seven Grandmasters from 1977. It's part of the Wu-Tang collection, directed by Joseph Kuo. Cast consists of Jack Long, who, if you are familiar, he also was in Master of the Flying Guillotine and the 18 Bronzemen. Yi Min Lee and Quan Wu Lang are also starring in this. Plot is an aging martial arts expert is gifted a plaque from the Emperor declaring him the Kung Fu World Champion. Unsure of whether or not he is deserving of this title, he embarks on a journey to defeat the 7 Grandmasters. So basically, we have Jack Long playing Shang Quan Chen, Yi Min Lee playing Si Ying, Quan Wu Lung playing Yu Chang, Nancy Yen playing Ming Chu, Alan Chung San Chi is playing Ku Ai Feng. If I pronounce those wrong, I apologize. I'm bad at pronouncing stuff like that, but I give it my best shot. So why I talk about the movie now? These movies will have spoilers. Just at this point in time, this movie is really old anyway. It is, from what I can tell, free to watch on YouTube right now if you want to check it out there. I think I tried to look on the Roku, and the only way to really view it now is to pay for it, I think. Or if you have Vudu. Vudu, I think, is showing it for free if you have an account. Yeah, so I actually own it, so it doesn't really matter. And I encourage anyone to own it themselves. I probably need to move into getting more if I can Blu-ray if they actually release this stuff on that. But I'll be showing some clips in the background of some of the fighting and stuff while I talk about the movie, what goes on in it. So we're just gonna go ahead and start doing that. So basically, as we said, Sang Quan Chun, he's the master here, and he's gonna be going on his journey here, and he's already getting into his first fight here. So these fights are all like basically they're friendly. I mean, they're not fighting to the death, but they're just testing your skills and whatnot. And that's what's great about this. And so we get to see a few of Shane Kwan's fights throughout the entire movie. The choreography is very, very great and amazing. The techniques are very utilized well. Um, as I said, he's not killing these guys, but what ends up happening after this first fight is we get a glimpse of the guy here who ends up dead. Like this is after Shane Kwan and his group because he's on this journey with his daughter and the three top students from his class. So they leave after they've defeated this guy, and he's still alive. But he ends up dying, and people believe that it's because of the fight here that Shane Kwang was the result of his death. And the reason why is because when the doctor's looking, like you see that move there, uh when we find the body of this guy, there's a shot to the head. So you would think that yeah, Shane Kwan probably killed him, but as we see here, he did not. Um, so I will say also when they're kind of looking at the body of this first victim, which is here, uh, he mentions that uh which is kind of cool. And then he mentions that the guy would have died anyway, even if he used what's called the invincible armor. Now, if you don't know, there is a movie called The Invincible Armor that's just quite good, and I will eventually probably talk about and review that movie on this channel at some point as well. Now, this guy, of course, is one that comes back later to tell Yi Ming, who we'll talk about in a few, about. You can see here, they think that Shang Quan killed this man, which is Ying Min Lee's, or excuse me, yeah, he's Si Ying's father. I had to get these names right. Um, so basically, Si Ying is a guy who ends up coming across this group, and before he does, he meets up with this old man after the fight. I probably think it's this fight here where where Si Ying actually observes what the fighting and how fun it is to watch them. So this old man comes up and he's talking with Si Ying, and he informs Si Ying about Shang Quan and what he's doing in terms of fighting the masters to prove his mettle. And so Si Ying wants to be taught by Shang Quan because he wants to learn kung fu. So he eventually starts following Shang Quan and his group as they travel to fight these other masters. And initially Shang Quan doesn't want anything to do with singing. He doesn't want to take on any new students. He doesn't want to, the other three students that he has are sort of bullying and pushing Si Ying around, telling him just to leave and get bent. They don't want him hanging around. Uh, now, see, Shane Kwan, he in this film, he practices a martial art called the 12 Strikes, which is learned from a book called the Book of Pei Mei, excuse me. And it's kind of cool. Like I don't know what this is really called, but like the whole like I can't even do it. I'm not skilled. So you can see what I'm trying to do. But it's cool when he does it as far as like the fighting technique and the positioning and whatnot. But they do like some very cool things as far as like the fighting skills and whatnot. I don't know how I got a double of that, but that's okay. Anyway, uh, so Si Ying continues to follow the group around and basically tries to get Shane Kwan to teach him the martial arts, but this happens for a long while where they're just not letting him. But he keeps following him, keeps trying to help him out and do things. And let's see, we'll get into some other stuff here, but there is a point where Shane Kwan falls ill because of the weather. They're walking through rain, just shitty weather, and he gets sick. And so Ying Yang again still continues to try to creates like some tea or herbs to try to help Shang Quan heal. And then of course the main student played by what's his name here? Give me a minute. Quan Wu Long, who plays Lu Cheng, he's like the top student of Shang Quan's class. He continues to give Si Ying a lot of grief, like even trying to help the master here. Um, so then we like eventually, Shane Kwan starts kind of warming up to Si Ying as far as like maybe he'll teach him, but there's some hesitancy why he wants to. So even though his daughter continues to try to push him to teach him because she believes that Si Ying is a good dude and loyal, uh, Shane Kwan is very hesitant to do that, and it all stems from his past, where Shane Kwan and another student are being taught by their master with the Pai Mei strikes and all that. And what eventually happens there is that their master is betrayed by one of the students. And so, because of this reason, Shane Kwan doesn't really want to teach uh, any more students because of that, because he's afraid of that betrayal, even though he has students already. I believe he doesn't teach his current students all the moves. Like there's 3 moves that are like probably like death moves or something that he doesn't really teach because he doesn't believe that you have to kill your opponent to win the fight, which it's an honorable thing. And so basically, that's what it comes down to. So here you can see Ying. We get his first look talking to the old man, and the man's explaining like what the purpose is of Shane Kwan's journey and quest. Uh, so eventually, though, singing proves to Shane Kwan that after there's like a fight later on where they're kind of like getting attacked, and despite at this point Yi Sing doesn't have any real fighting skill, he tries to help his master by taking blows that would be meant for the master himself. So Shane Kwan appreciates this, and he starts to learn and say, hey, yeah, okay, maybe this kid's got something that's worthwhile to teach. And this is when we first come across where he's trying to join the group and they're not really receptive. It's kind of, he's like, well, you may want me to teach you, but how do you think I may not want to teach you? It's like, I don't want you as my student, but etc. He's trying to continue to impress him and prove that he will be loyal. But eventually, like I said, yeah, Si Ying proves to Shang Quan that he's going to be a good student. So Shang Quan begins to teach him. And it's actually kind of interesting because as they get to, well, one thing, Si Ying starts to learn quickly, very quickly, and he actually becomes a better student than the 3 initial students that the teacher has, which really impresses Shang Quan, especially when it gets to the final fight of the Masters. You know, there's a moment. I'm gonna see if I can get up to it. Here's where Si Ying is actually learning and uh getting the skills ready necessary. Here's the 3 other students where they're kind of going to bully him a little bit, but they end up kind of getting beat by Si Ying here as he's getting better and better. He's getting a little more arrogant. You can tell he's very confident. But the final fight with the last master, Shane Quan is still kind of ill. Like he's not 100%. So the other master's like, well, look, man, we can't fight unless you're 100%. Like that's an honorable thing. So what the other master suggests is that they go and use their own students here. So here's the final master with their students, and this is of course his best student versus what we think is Shane Kwan's best student. So obviously, this is the fight where Si Ying proves himself to be better than all of them because he ends up taking on all three at this point. This is the actual other student here who ends up kind of losing to the guy in black. But yeah, Si Ying starts proving that he's actually a really, really great fighter by defeating all three. He's like, "Look, man, you can try to beat me by yourself, but I think you should get your other two buddies." And they're all kind of pissed, and so he eventually does come in and like actually defeat all these guys, which is very cool. And he starts as he's fighting, he's using techniques that, of course, Shane Kwan has taught him, which I don't even know how much he's taught to those students because you don't really see them utilizing some of the moves that Si Ying does. So it's just kind of interesting. I don't know if they're just like if Shane Kwan was just keeping them at bay as students to teach them just enough, or that he felt that Yi Sing was more deserving of learning more. Either way, here's where he starts taking on all of them and defeating them. So then, like, basically, he wins this fight, right? And Shane Kwan is declared the ultimate champion, teacher, master, whatever. And so they want to go back home. And what ends up happening is that old man that one was talking to Si Ying at the beginning. Uh, he comes into play later. So we see where that first guy that died was Yi Sing's father. And so what this other guy says is he tells Yi Sing, "Hey, look, Shang Quan killed your dad, man." And so Yi Sing's like devastated. Like, here's the guy that just taught him all this great skill, how to fight and everything else. And now he learns that he killed his father, which as a viewer, we know isn't the truth. But eventually, Yi Sing is going to challenge um, he's going to challenge Shang Quan, but only after this gentleman, the old man, teaches him the three final strikes, which again I think are meant for more like death blows or to kill your opponent. But the old man is convincing Yi Sing that this is the only way to defeat Shang Quan because Shang Quan knows these moves, he just doesn't use them. So here they are. He's challenging Shang Quan, accusing him of killing his father. When Shang Quan, of course, is like denying it, saying, "No, I beat him. He was still alive. I came back and he was dead." And then we see the same similar moves with the hands. Uh, and they're fighting out. In this fight, it's very interesting because as it goes on, Yi Sing gets the better of Shang Quan, and then he, in fact, hurts him pretty hardly with one of his final strikes, which Shang Quan immediately recognizes and says, "Who taught you that?" Like he knows that that wasn't something he taught Yi Sing, but somebody else. So he already knows that something else is at play. And eventually, once he gets the better of Shang Quan, the old man reveals himself to be Ku Yi Feng, Ku Yi Feng, who is basically I don't know if he's the I think he's the brother of Shang Quan. So he's the other student from back in the day, the one that actually betrayed their teacher because I don't know, he wanted the information or the book of Pei Mei to himself. Just very not very trustworthy. So obviously, you know, this is so interesting seeing some of this because we're gonna see some of the fights and it's crazy. Heir apparents of one another. Uh, but the fighting's so great in this, like it really is. And then, of course, like I said, they get to Ku Ying Feng at the end here, where he's revealing himself. He's the one that actually killed Yi Sing's father. There's a Feng there, And basically, the coolest thing about this, for a number of reasons at the end here, is that as Yi Sing is fighting Feng, gosh, Shang Quan is on the ground, so he's unable to really join the fight, but he's observing the fight. Like, he's still alive. He's observing the fight, and Feng is getting the best of Yi Sing because he has just more experience with the techniques and everything. And so basically, as they're fighting, he's getting the better of Yi Sing, but what is cool is that Shang Quan, even sitting on the ground as the other two are fighting, he tells Yi Sing. Well, he doesn't get into it a little bit, but again, he's not really in a position to do so, and you can see Yi Sing protecting him. So Yi Sing really appreciates Shang Quan, and especially now that he knows that he got duped. But as they're fighting, and Feng is getting the better of Yi Sing, what happens is Shane Quan is telling him he's telling him the counter moves for what Feng is doing to him. So if Feng tries to get the best of Yi Sing, he's like, do this move or do this move, and it helps him get out of some tough situations. Even to the final one, which that was as much clips as I wanted to show, really. Uh the final move is one that you wouldn't really expect. It's a cool move. It's a crushing move for anyone who has seen this film. You know what I'm talking about. And it's a move that kills Fong. So he does die, but this movie is just so great on so many levels. It runs very quickly. You don't get bored, or there's no overtly bad dialogue. Uh, as I said, the choreography and fighting is really good. A lot of fun. uh, and the characters are interesting. So, and sometimes, like, I have problems in movies where when we take a young man like Yi Sing who is kind of goofy, and they kind of like overly goofy them to the point that they get annoying. This isn't the case in this film. Like, he's goofy enough, but it's more of like an innocent goofy. He's just not being a goof for the sake of being a goof. Now, some films uh make it, or some films that use characters like that make it work flawlessly to where it's only like a minor point. And maybe when I get to that movie down the road, I'll explain a little bit more on that. Um, but then there's other times where you take a character who's like just so goofy. This is one of my only issues, and I only bring up this time here, is that a lot of my issues with Jackie Chan is he comes more from a comedic standpoint, and I don't really care for all that. It's not like when I watch Jackie Chan, I generally like more serious Jackie Chan. Now, granted, Rumble in the Bronx has a lot of humor in it. It does, but that's a little bit different because the movie itself is more drama than it is the comedy aspect. But there were just things throughout Jackie's career where the comedy was overtaking everything else. And I know it sounds bad to say because I do love Jackie Chan a lot. I do love his films. I love the guy, the fighter, just a very high class act dude. But it's all about personal taste with films and what you want out of it. I just like more serious martial arts films, um, because I want to immerse myself in the anger and the revenge. It's always about revenge. And Neko always says, you killed my father. I'm back for revenge." And so that's basically what it is half the time. So, but yeah, so even though Yi Sing's character is a bit goofy on early on, it's not overdone. It's just enough to show his innocence before he becomes a skilled fighter. And again, man, Jack Jack Long as Shane Kwan is excellent in this. Well acted, very fun to watch, and just top notch, man. Like, I can't say much more about this film other than the fact that it's fucking amazing. I just love this film, and it was a great film to start off this particular segment with Lone Wolf dub. This one, of course, actually is in English, even though it's dubbed in English. So there you go. There's the dub. There's the dub. I hope you all enjoyed this review. 10 out of 10, easily for me. One of the best martial arts films out there. There's many of them I will try to get to over the course of time. Don't know how often, but certainly I will definitely try to do that and get the content up for this. So Thank you all for checking out this first episode of Lone Wolf with Dub. See you next time. Oh, tomorrow. I just want to say before I let you go, tomorrow, Neko and I will be doing my top 10 movies of 2023. That's certainly going to be the final content of the year for the channel. I will continue to get the music stuff out every week, but the next thing I'm probably going to do video wise may not be till Cinematic Synergy, which I will get back with Kevin Lambert to do once he frees up some time. We were supposed to do it this month, but like I said, I went through some challenges in terms of what I wanted to do with the channel, if I wanted to keep it going or not. And I do want to keep it going. I just have to kind of lower my expectations of what I'm going to get out of it. Like, the reality is, for those that are watching or even have checked out other stuff, I may not be that entertaining compared to some other YouTubers or whatever, and that's fine. Like, it's all about whether or not you connect with the person giving you the information or doing the YouTube content. So I know I'm not as charismatic or entertaining as other people, but I have the passion for it, so I'm going to continue to do it no matter where it takes my channel. So for those that do support it, please hit the like button or subscribe if you haven't. If you enjoy it, it will definitely help. If not, comments are always welcome. How do you feel about this film? What films would you like me to check out? Like there may be films I have not seen that you feel like would deserve to be on Anubis's all-time favorite martial arts film. So take care, all. Have a great week, and I will see you tomorrow on the Metal Tavern podcast.